Hello, I'm Carrie Sundra with Alpenglow Industries, and I thought I would show you how I hooked up the ultrasonic sensor to the FUnicorn and made the socially distanced unicorn. All right, so this is the back of the FUnicorn board, and I've soldered on these four Arduino shield headers so that we can easily plug signals in. And I've also soldered on this ISP header. It's a programming header that is pretty optional, that you might never even use if you're just programming it through the Arduino interface. But the interesting thing about that connector is that on the FUnicorn, I have made two of those lines 5-volt tolerant. And that's important because the FUnicorn, as you can see, it has this big note that says 3.3 volt signals only. So it's a little different from a standard Arduino Uno in that it operates off of 3.3 volts. Standard Arduinos operate off of 5 volts. So if you are interfacing the FUnicorn with a 5 volt device, you have to make sure that that device's 5 volt outputs aren't going to zorch the processor on the FUnicorn board, which is expecting a 3.3 volt signal interface. So there are 4 lines on this ultrasonic sensor. Oh, and this is an HC-SR04. It's a very common type of ultrasonic sensor. $4 on Adafruit, super cheap. And there are also existing Arduino libraries. I'm using one called Ultrasonic by Eric, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, Simoes, maybe? Probably not. S-I-M-O with the little squiggly thing on the top of it, E-S. Anyway, it's a very nice, very simple library that just gets you up and running with these ultrasonic sensors super quickly. So, okay, 4 signals. We have VCC and ground. So VCC is 5 volts, so we'll be giving it 5 volts, which you can do on the FUnicorn because basically we pipe the 5 volts from the USB connector to what is the normal 5 volt output on an Arduino Shield connector. So as long as you're plugged into USB, you have a nice source of 5 volts. All right, and then the trigger line, which is the second one there, trig, it is a signal that goes from the processor to the ultrasonic sensor to kind of pull it. And then echo is the signal that goes from the ultrasonic sensor back to the FUnicorn, to the processor, and that is the one that we have to make sure that's going to be at 5 volts because the ultrasonic sensor is a 5 volt device, and we have to make sure that by the time it gets into the processor, it's at a nice safe 3.3 volts. So it just so happens that the example code for the, let's see if I can make this the different window here, maybe. There we go. So it just so happens that the example code for the ultrasonic sensor has you setting trigger and echo up on pins 12 and 13. So right here. So this is kind of cool because they happen to be unused on the FUnicorn, yay. And 13, which is our echo, which is our 5 volt signal that we have to get to 3.3 volts, it also is shared with S-clock. So S-clock is an SPI line, and back to here and there. So S-clock, here we go, 12 here, 13 there. 13 you can see is also S-clock, and whoop, it also goes to the ISP connector. And now we wanted to make the ISP connector able to interface with every kind of common programmer, and most of those common programmers are actually running at 5 volts. So we put a little bit of 5 volt signal protection here. We have 5 volts going into this resistor, and then this diode clamps that 5 volt signal at 3.3 volts. So even though our code says we're on pin 13 up here, pin 13 is internally connected to S clock, and we're actually going to put our signal on pin 3 of the ISP connector right there. So let's do that. All right. I have a hopefully handy color scheme going on, and we're going to put our trigger, which is yellow, into pin 12, and our echo, which is green, into pin 3, and then we're going to put power into the 5-volt USB, and ground next to it. And there we go. That's what it's going to look like, all hooked up. 5 volts, ground, pin 12, yep, pin 12, and then pin 13, which is also pin 3 on S clock. All right, I'm going to pause right now so that I can get the unicorn set up. All right, so here we go. We have the FUnicorn all set up on its stand and have the ultrasonic sensor sitting next to it, kind of pointed up a little bit at the ceiling. And it's just running off, it's just USB powered, running off of that USB battery bank. It was just kind of easy, portable. And so now, when you wave in front of it, woot, we get a nice social distance fuck you out of it. That's right. 6 feet, bro. Stay back. Anyway, this was a pretty easy addition and kind of fun, so thought I would share it with you. Awesome! We'll definitely be doing more stuff for the FUnicorn. Have some ideas coming up, more little hacks, different ways to activate it, different ways to interface with sensors. Because electronics should be fun, right? Right. All right. See you later.